1876, Thomas Sexton sets foot on the shores of Waswawaning, the place to spearfish by moonlight, now known as Agate Bay. The natural harbor provided protection from the big waves of Lake Superior. Like other prospectors, his hope was to strike it rich mining copper, silver, or gold. While very few prospectors found these precious metals, iron ore deposits were discovered near Lake Vermilion. Establishing a mine in the area would require a means to transport the ore to a port on Lake Superior. The Minnesota Mining Company was hired to survey the land between Lake Vermilion and the North Shore to determine the most direct route to Lake Superior. Even though Beaver Bay was geographically closer to the range, the lake bed at Agate Bay had a clay bottom that would better support the docks needed to load iron ore onto ships. The first shipment of ore was on August 19, 1884. By 1885, roughly 225,000 tons of iron ore were being shipped out of the docks at Agate Bay. The increase in shipping traffic led the Vessel Owners Association and the United States Lighthouse Association to request a lighthouse to be built to safely guide ships in and out of the harbor. On August 4, 1886, the U.S. Congress authorized $10,000 to be spent to construct a light station with a keeper's quarters and fog signal building. The rocky peninsula on the east side of Agate Bay was chosen as an appropriate site for the tower. The fog signal building, keeper's quarters, and tower were completed in November 1891, near the end of the shipping season. April 15, 1892, the lighthouse was lit for the first time, signaling the start of the shipping season.
The keeper of the light was a very important position. Lighthouses ensured the safety of all who were on Lake Superior. Charles Laderly, the first keeper of the Two Harbors Lighthouse, was very capable of taking on this assignment.
Laderly immigrated from Germany in the 1860s, joining the U.S. Navy in 1873. After being honorably discharged in 1876, he married Margaretha and joined the U.S. Lighthouse Service. During the first 5 years of employment with the U.S. Lighthouse Service, he helped construct lighthouses along the Atlantic coast. In 1881, he received his first head keeper's position at Sand Island, part of the Apostle Islands in Lake Superior. He was the first keeper at the new station. Keeper Laderly lived at the station with his wife Margaretha and daughter Teresa. The station was a 2-mile row from the nearest city of East Bay with a population of 100. In 1891, he became the first keeper at the Two Harbors Light. The Laderlys opened the new light and were the first family to live in the keeper's quarters. In 1907, the settlement of Agate Bay became the village of Two Harbors. It was a desirable home for the family of 5. The growing town of 3,000 was within walking distance of the lighthouse, enabling the keeper's family to live there. Laderly cited the good school district as one of the many reasons for accepting the position at Two Harbors. In 1911, Charles was then promoted to the head keeper at the Duluth Station, where he remained until his retirement in 1919.
Keeper Laderly served 19 years at the Two Harbors Lighthouse and witnessed the growth of Agate Bay into Two Harbors.
With the nation's demand for iron ore, shipping on Lake Superior dramatically increased. The beacon was at the top of the light tower. The tower had several landings. These served as workstations to maintain continuous light. At the heart of the lighthouse station is the lamp. The light for the beacon was originally generated using kerosene lamps. The Fresnel lens, a 19th century innovation, increased the intensity of the kerosene lamp's light.
This is the 4th order Fresnel lens that was used in the Two Harbors Lighthouse. The way the Fresnel lens works is to bend and refract light into a center bullseye, creating a beacon that could be seen 17 miles out into the lake. The keepers would take shifts watching the light at night. During Laderly's time, the only way to access the lighthouse tower was through a door on the 2nd floor of the house. Let's take those same steps today as we work our way up towards the top of the tower. Looking at the doorway, you can see how thick the walls are separating the house from the tower. This is a safety measure in case of a fire or explosion were to occur while handling the kerosene.
Kerosene lanterns required daily maintenance. In the cleaning and wicking rooms, the lanterns were refueled and the wicks were trimmed to ensure a tall, bright flame. The watchroom has 4 portals set in the 4 cardinal directions. These portals helped the keepers watch for the traffic on the lake.
The highest part of the tower is the lens room, where the lamp and the lens were. With the expansion of lighthouses on the Great Lakes, signature light patterns were established to differentiate one lighthouse from another.
In 1907, a rotating beacon was installed with a red 5-second flash of light every 20 seconds. This 20-second pattern was repeated 3 times per minute. This was the lighthouse's signature. The signature was later changed again.
The Coast Guard stationed keepers at the lighthouse until 1987, when the light was automated and operated from the Duluth Coast Guard Station.
In 1999, the Society appealed to Congressman Jim Oberstar, and a bill was passed in Congress transferring ownership of the Two Harbors Lighthouse from the United States Coast Guard to the Lake County Historical Society. As caretakers of the lighthouse, the Lake County Historical Society is responsible for the upkeep of the buildings and the light. To help fund the upkeep for the light and interpretation of the vast history of Lake County, Minnesota, the Lighthouse Bed and Breakfast opened in 1999, providing guests an opportunity to live like the lighthouse keepers would have at the turn of the century.
The current beacon is a modern flashing strobe on a 5-year loan from the U.S. Coast Guard. The Lake County Historical Society is working on a long-term solution to bring back the original light sweep and signature that belongs with the Two Harbors Lighthouse. With your help, the Society hopes to raise enough money to purchase and install a modern rotating beacon, which will restore the iconic sweep and signature of the light to the Two Harbors shoreline. To accomplish this goal, we need to raise nearly $70,000 to fully replace the beacon and modernize the lighthouse. Help us keep the light lit for generations to come. Donate today.